turning round. Whoa, that was a good bite. Christ, that's got some strength. Hello and welcome back to my channel. So thank you for joining me today. And this video is the pickups that I got at the Western Invertebrate show at Thornbury. It was a brilliant show. I managed to end up getting there 2 hours early because I mis-edited the times. I thought there'd be more traffic, but there wasn't. So I was at the front of the queue, and thank you for all those that came over and said hello. I really appreciate that, and thank you to everyone that I spoke to there. But I was after like a particular thing, so I was after like I've got a list of mature males. I think I've got about 10, maybe 12 that I'm after, and I couldn't find them anywhere. They had a few mature males, but nothing that I wanted. So there's another couple of things that I did want, and I managed to get them. So one of the ones is pokies. I'm after getting loads and loads of pokies again. I want to get all what I had before, because I think Lucy and I ended up with like 30 Tigrina Wasellis and the same amount of Vittata. Now we've only got one Vittata, which is a female, I'm hoping. And today I ended up getting a Pulsotheria fasciata, which I don't think I've had, but Lucy says we have had one, so she remembers feeding a load of them. So I've got a decent size there. I'd say that's 2 inches easy, maybe 3, and that was £30. That was absolutely a steal. So really happy with that. I'll see if I can give you a quick little look. Please don't run off. And there we go. So there's my fasciata, and you can see it's a decent size. I'd say it's easily 3 inches. Small abdomen, so we'll have to feed that up. With the pokies, they don't really get massive abdomens, but you get a few specimens that do. My Vittata has got a massive rear end. She's always eating. And I'm hoping this one is a female, but it was unsexed, so it's a complete guess. So I am hoping that this one will be a female. But these are a little bit more easy to get hold of, the fasciatas. I've kind of found them all over the place at the minute. So I thought, get one while I've got one in my collection. If it's a male, it's a male, but I hope it'll be a female. So there's that one. Pop that on. So that's easy. So I'm pretty much going to leave that in there. What I'm going to do is just glue an ink pot at the side so it's got some water. I've already fed it and it's already eaten. Then I wanted these, which are the Flamingochilus species Achaea from Borneo, and these are beautiful. I'll put a picture up on the screen there. And I've always wanted these. I've seen them on the spider shop and a few other places, but every time I went to get them, there was always something else I wanted. So I went for them first. And the guy that was selling these is brilliant, because he said he thought they were a lot smaller, so he charged less, and he did it on his sheet. So he advertised it at that, but they're actually over 1 inch. They're really a decent size. So I fed them both, and they're in there, but you're not going to see them because they've gone straight down into the bottom. But there's two Flamingochilus species Achaea, so I'm really, really happy that I've got those, and they're both unsexed. There's two, so they will stay in that until I rehouse them into something a little bit bigger. So I just place them there. So there was something I wanted a long time ago that I did have. I had a mature female and a mature male, Pulsotheria regalis. Loved my female. She was humongous, like massive. And those that have had pokies know how big some of them can get. And mine was very, very chilled and calm, but every now and then she would give me like a threat pose, bit of a display. She'd run around once in a blue moon. If it was like coming up to molt, she didn't want no food. She didn't want disturbing. Otherwise, I could pretty much manipulate her from one enclosure to the other. She would move slowly under her own energy, and never had a problem with her. But then tried to pair her, and she died after being paired. So, and I know that that can happen to some tarantulas, so I was totally gutted. And then I tried to look for a regalis, and you literally can't see. I couldn't find any anywhere. I didn't want to go from a sling. I wanted to get bigger. And then I saw Dave Beasties at the show. He had a load of slings and stuff as well. But then I managed to find this on another table, and it is a confirmed female, £70. Pulsotheria regalis, Indian ornamental. Now that's a decent size. It's a sub-adult, so it'll get a lot bigger. My female was twice this size. She was huge. And the thing with what I've got in these two, I'm going to rehouse them both now in the video today, so you get to see both of these. So I've done a nice enclosure for the P regalis, and I'm going to show you, like, I'm not going to cup it. I'm just going to take the lid off and I'm going to give it a tap and see what it does. Just so that you see that this is a female that I've not had in the spider room, but how they react. So I want you to see firsthand the way I do. Like I put a water bowl in there, I just took the lid off, she just sat there, didn't even move at all, absolutely fine, so I wasn't too bothered with that. Fed her last night, so she had a small cricket. But this one is Stromatopelma calceatum, the feather-leg baboon, and this is a world-caught female. And it's not an adult, but it is a sub-adult, so it's a large size. And it is in there, if you can see, it's already webbed up, because this is what I bought her in, this tub. But this one, trying to put water dish in, oh my days, this just went completely mental all over the tub, started striking, and I swear I heard it do like a hiss, but it was stridulating its fangs. It was doing this sort of motion with its fangs, and then when I moved around the other side, because I called Lucy up so she could have a look, it would move between myself and Lucy and just do that and then give a slap. So then I tried to put a cricket in, it's at the cricket, but this one for beginners, I would say do not open the lid and let it just freely walk out. This, I have seen a video of this actually jumping for someone. There is a video going around on YouTube of a cableman working up like a telecommunications cable up a pole, and there was one there, and I can't remember I can't remember the name of the video, but Lucy and I watched it, and he'd come down drastically, and the spider ran down the tree a couple of foot and jumped towards the bloke, and he had to try and get this spider off. This is probably the only spider I've ever had in my collection that is defensive, so I'd call it defensive, but this is probably the only genus I'd actually say if you annoy it and it spots you, it will run out of its way to get you to move. It will run towards you, and they can jump. I've got a couple other calceatums, but they're slings. Lucy and I have had these before in the hobby, and when we've had them from slings growing up, they're skittish, but we've had them very, very calm to the point I can manipulate them from one enclosure to the other. But maybe because I didn't get those to an adult size, and the females, they create their own territory, these are very, very explosive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about it. I'm going to do the Regalis first, see how that goes, and then I'll think about just taking the lid completely off this one, giving it a tap, just a slight touch on the side. It's going to flare up and go into a strike pose, but I wonder if I can get it to climb up the enclosure and get it to go in. I might be able to stand up and get out of the way in case it runs off, then I could just catch it. That's absolutely fine. But I want to give you a look at these colours because it's almost like the H-Mac, Heteroscoda maculata. Love that colour. It's like a grey coloration, but it's like a bird poo pattern or something we've always just said. And this calceatum, it's got a similar coloration, but it's got fine pink, peachy sort of hairs going all the way down the side. So I want to be able to show you this one, even if it kicks off. So I think what we'll do is we'll leave those as they are, get them out of the way, and then we'll rehouse them. So let me get the enclosures up here, and then let's start with the Regalis. So that's all I've done. Done my gravel, done my mesh layer, added a bit more humidity because I need to keep this Regalis 70% to 80%. But when they're slings, they definitely need that humidity, and they also need cross ventilation. As they get older, you can let it dry out and then just add more spraying or add more water just to bring it up and keep it down and bring it up as such. But you leave the water dish in there always, and I've put a complete cork tube in there because I know the Regalis like to contain themselves in the dark at all times, and then in the evening you'll find them come out and just stand out on the front. So that's all I've done for the Regalis, and put a couple of fake plants in there, nothing real apart from the moss at the bottom. So let's see if we can encourage this one up. So we've got her ready. This was an absolute nightmare to get that lid uncracked, so she's run around a bit, so I'm going to let her just settle, and then hopefully see if we can get her to go up sideways, up through here. As you can see, she is big, but nowhere near as big as my adult female. Absolutely gorgeous coloration, and I love the little hint of yellow just to give you a warning of the P. Regalis. But let's check the temperament and let's see what happens. Possibly going to threat display, but let's just bring it in from the side and a light little touch. There we go, as expected, and I'm just going to try and encourage up the side of the glass. Look at that coloration. Absolutely stunning. Obviously she is a bit bigger than what I thought she was when she spreads out, but still got room to grow. Let's go back in again, nice and slow. And there we go. So obviously look at the yellows, can you see them? But this spider is medically significant, but you can see by the nature there, she's not done a single threat. And she can move very, very fast if she wants to. Let's give her a little help. There we go. And I love that pattern on the abdomen on the underside. But there we go, that was easy. Let me just see if I can get a measurement. Or I'd say 16. I would say 16 centimetres there on her. So she has got plenty more growing to do. Let me just pop the lid on. So there you have a look, just sat on the front. That was really easy to put her in, really. If you're unsure and you're a bit nervous, then just cut them, put them in the enclosure, crack the lid and let them come out of their own time. But just wanted to show you that the pokies, because I keep quite a few pokies and metallicas and stuff, they have their moments, they have their times. They could be extremely fast, but normally they move quite slow. Whereas a P Metallica, they hate the light, they will run around, they'll be skittish every time, every movement. Apart from then one female that I did have, she was completely placid. She was humongous. She was 20, I think she was just over 20 centimetres, but she was very thick and she was bold. But you can see from this, I don't know the temperament of this one at all. A light little touch, it just casually walked up and in. But don't let that catch you off guard, because they can explode and they can jump. Pokies can jump, so and then they can deliver a bite. But normally with these, they'll do like a threat display first to show you that they're annoyed. But as you saw, there was nothing there, straight in, nice and smooth. So absolutely over the moon with that. Let's see if this will happen on the calciatum. So let's see if I can get that in and do the same. Let me bring you closer again. So with the Stromatopamba calciatum, I've done the same again, just put a load of moss in, a nice twiggy branch of a moss. And then I've done a dual chamber, because I've noticed from my calciatums they still get skittish when you move their enclosure and they're inside. And on one of them, both of my other ones, they've done double chambers, and if you disturb them on one side or there's light there, they go to the other side. So I've given them this piece, given her this piece, and it's joined in the middle, and all of that is open on the inside of that cork bark, but it is completely put under the substrate at the bottom, so no matter which way it goes in, it can traverse up and down, and it can come out both sides. That way is a little bit more sheltered, this way is a bit more open right by the water dish. Now I'm stalling, so let's just see if I can crack the lid on this one. Right, yesterday when I touched this, she went absolutely berserk, so let me just see if I can get her to calm down. And this is wild caught, so I would advise, if you're not comfortable, do not do this, because this is more than likely going to jump in any direction and just go off somewhere, and I'm going to have to try and find it. She's actually staying really, really still at the minute. There we go, so you can see a subadult female, absolutely stunning. Look at that coloration. Absolutely beautiful. And she's staying calm for a minute, considering what she did last night, which I didn't put on camera. But she's protecting her eyes. She's got her legs all rolled up. But this can just explode and come at me in a second. But let's have a look. Now, I expect this, as soon as I touch, to go into a threat. If not, run out and just go off somewhere. So let's have a look. Just create some distance. Turn him round. Whoa! That was a good bite. Christ, that's got some strength. I knew that was going to happen. But what I need to do is maintain point of contact, and once she realizes it's not food and it's not a threat to her, I should be able to just guide her. But I've got to be careful with the speed of this because this could run up. And as you can see, she's no longer biting. Oh, there you go, she did again. Christ, she's strong. Look at that stunner. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this from here. Come on, baby. Right, here we go. Let's push her up. Come on. Up you go. Oh, she is not having any of this. Obviously, I'm really getting on her nerves, but I'm trying to just coax her up. Another bite. Come on. She'll give in a second. Up you go. Let's see if she'll go up or strike again because I've gave her a couple of seconds away. As I said, do not do this if you are not comfortable. Look at that. She is actually massive. Where's she going? Oh, now she's unsure. She got unsure, and look how she lays. Where they put the legs back and the legs forward. I almost had her in then. I just need to give her a slight tap, but I think she was getting ready to jump then. Let's see if I can encourage her back this way. Nest. Oh. Go on, go the right way. Well, you didn't see that on camera, but she darted back in, and then you can see where the cork bark goes from this side to the other. So she's climbed through, and she is now over there. So that's worked perfectly. Right, so there you have it. God, she made me sweat then. I sweated a little bit then. That was... I have seen a few videos where they can actually come for you and they're very quick, and like they could have run up the, she could have run up the straw, same as she could, but I wasn't bothered about this because I've had a few pokies actually run on me, and if you just stay still, they're okay. You just get them off and they're done. But this one is a different story, but I wouldn't advise doing what I just did there because it could have jumped and cleared. I'm only behind the desk. It could have just jumped to me and then bit me, which it would have done straight away. As soon as it felt your skin, it would have bitten straight away. So if you do ever go for them and get a wild caught one like that, then just cup it, put it in, let it come out itself, just to be on the safe side. But I wanted to see and show you, like, it was skittish. It went into like defense because I was touching it. An object that didn't understand what it was touching it. But as soon as it realized it wasn't food and it wasn't going to get hurt, it just went into a defense. And then if you keep going with the push in, then it will just move straight out of the way. But you have to be careful because I've done that before, thinking, oh, I'm just going to push it all the way up on the enclosure. I look away for a second, come back, and something's run up the straw. So you've got to be very, very careful. But there you go. So both went smoothly. I hope you enjoyed that. 2 nearly adult females. Absolutely love them in these enclosures. So hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one.